Good morning, children. Children, as we are on going with our revision, today we are going to do the revision of the lesson, the last leaf 3.3 of Unit 3, written by O. Henry. And you all know it's a very beautiful lesson based on friendship between three people, Shu, Johnsy, and Mr. Behrman. Shu and Johnsy, children, are very good friends. They met at a restaurant. They became a bosom friends, or you can say best friends. Just decided to live together. And one day, Johnsy falls a victim of pneumonia as there was an epidemic in New York City, and she falls sick. Shu takes a great care of her during her illness. She calls for a doctor. The doctor informs her that Johnsy has given up a hope of living because of the disease, and she has developed a belief that the ivy leaf which was outside her window on the climber, when it will fall, she will die. The same thing Johnsy had confided with her Shu. Now Shu discusses this thing with a very good neighbor, Mr. Behrman, who lived on the ground floor. Now Mr. Behrman was a very kind-hearted man. He believed in believing the facts, and he goes out of the way to help Shu and Johnsy. And he was also a very good painter, as you all know, and his wish was to paint a masterpiece. But he had no opportunity to show his skills, and he wished that one day he would paint. Now, Mr. Behrman goes out of the way to help Shu. On a cold night, he paints an ivy leaf for outside in the rain, and he sacrifices his life for a very good friend, Johnsy, so that she can live. Now let's read the summary, children. The story Last Leaf by O. Henry is a beautiful story depicting the virtue of human sacrifice and love. This story is about Sue, Johnsy, and Mr. Behrman. Sue and Johnsy live in an apartment in a Greenwich village, a favorite place for aspiring painters to live at. Sue and Johnsy had met at a restaurant and became a soulmate friends. In winter, pneumonia epidemic affected many people in that area. Johnsy also fell prey to it. Her condition became worse from bed with each passing day. The doctor confided to Shu one day that Johnsy was losing hope and desired to get well under the painful influence of the disease. She began to harbor a belief that she would die the moment the last leaf fell from the ivy climber on the wall opposite her window. She also shares her belief with a friend. She discussed this thing with Mr. Behrman, who was an extremely talented painter living in obscurity, means very nearby, or you can say on the ground floor he was staying, as per mentioned in the lesson, in their neighborhood. Mr. Behrman decided to save Jonesy's life. He believed in the power of believing. One night when it was extremely cold and raining, he painted a leaf on the ivy climber in such a manner that it looked like a real leaf. When Johnsy saw that last leaf on the ivy climber on the opposite wall, had not fallen, she was somehow filled with desire to heal and get well. This desire helped her to recuperate, means revive, or you can say recover. And she recovered. However, Mr. Behrman had worked in cold, was affected with pneumonia, and died. Thus, he laid his life to save John C's life. Such a beautiful thought. You give away your life for your friend. Theme of a lesson. Very often we find people having negative attitude of life. They lose interest in life and this causes suffering to the people surrounding them. They are even ready to lose their life as life has lost all the meaning to them. The story tells the need to have positive attitude towards life so that we can make it as fruitful as possible. Sacrificing our life for the sake of other is also the theme of this story. Painter Behrman sacrifices his life for John C. Message given by the lesson. The chief message this story gives is a spirit of sacrifice we need to have in our life. The old artist Behrman sacrificed his life so that John C. could live. In the process, he also achieved his ambition of painting a masterpiece. Right? So even Behrman's wish is also fulfilled to paint a masterpiece, and he saves his friend's life. Now question answers, children. Revision. The last leaf. What did doctor tell Shu about John C? On the blank you will write. This half line is not printed. Okay. What? Second question. What dreadful illness did John C suffer from? Question number 3. Describe ivy vine outside the window. Now, make a pair of sentences difference between the meaning of the following homographs from the story. Two different sentences using same word with different meanings. You have to write down. It's already given to you. Interest, well, and left. Say true or false. Sue and John C were close friends. Were is missing, children? Just write down. Sue was a rich girl. Number 3. John C was hopeful that she will live. Behrman was a hard-hearted man. 5th, the last leaf fell off during the rain. 6th, John C realized that her thinking was wrong. Next, correct the statement. You have to write the correct statement. Full. Sue and John C were good neighbors. Yes, so it is true. So you don't need to correct. Yes, is what true? Yes. What they were? They were good friends. So you have to write what? Sue and John C were good friends. In full sentence you have to write. John C was eager to recover from her illness. Was she eager? Yes? No, she was not eager. She had developed a belief that she would die one day when the ivy leaf falls. She ignored John C completely. She ignored John C completely. 4th, the real ivy leaf did not fall off at all. You have to correct it if it is wrong. The last leaf was the real leaf that survived. Correct this thing. Okay? Who said to whom? Open the window. Who is telling to whom? She is very ill and weak. I have not heard of such thing. It's the last one. So children, here you have to read your lesson very carefully. Give one word for. Colored slightly, kind of thin soup, an outstanding work of art, rough and twisted, moving with light irregular motion. Thank you, children, for being with me, and please write down this revision in your notebook. Read the chapter thoroughly well. These are the types of question you should be expecting from me now. Love you all. Stay connected, children.